Okay, we are back in Hollywood, believe it or not. Here to let people see my car's signage, and I'm sure we'll have some people probably running in front of my car trying to cause accidents, right? Or better yet, the clothing color groups. It used to be groups of black and yellow. It was rotating, but it was huge groups of black and yellow and red and blacks, and then other things, which would all come out obviously after tracking on the Google Cloud exploits, to try to make it look like I'm a violent paranoid schizo. But I don't know how I'm gonna do this. It's gonna be sideways, but I guess that's what they want anyways. No, so here we are, we're in Hollywood Boulevard, and letting people see my truck with the signage, and that makes a lot of sicko child rapist supporters unhappy. Now the question here is, why does it upset a planet of people who have been hunting to kill me since 5 years old? The signs on my car that say you have been lied to, who have actively minute by minute for 46 years, 100,000 to a million attacks per day to try to make someone look like a violent paranoid schizo and execute them, or force them into mental institutions so they can have a good, healthy, normal life in a bouncy room, while the government tries to get 5350s and all sorts of weird fucking freaky shit like this, with my mother, father, and brother, who are so angry that their 5-year-old is not who they wanted me to be. So hunting me for all my imperfection crimes, which don't make any sense. You blinked at the dinner table, you yawned. I can remember one time my father telling me if I don't eat the liver and onions, I'm not allowed to leave the dinner table. So I didn't eat the liver and onions and waited there for like an hour. And in my family, apparently, which I didn't really understand or realize, that's a you do not disobey, or unheard of amounts of people get together with obsessional looping tactics and idea of reference tactics and mental illness tactics and paranoid schizophrenia tactics to execute and eradicate. However, why are the government resources being used, billions and billions of government dollars? Unfucking explainable. However, if you do your research about gang stalking targets and the things that go on with government labeling and flagging, these are flag and kill operations. So around the age 5, my father decided, or somehow had the right resources around him, because remember, I was born on Castle Creek Air Force Base. My father was in the Air Force as a doctor. Who knows what the fuck he was doing there. He wasn't really a pilot or anything. I guess he said he learned how to partially fly a Cessna, but almost biffed it on a landing or something. So, or he scared himself on a landing. I don't know. So he didn't really fly, but he was a doctor on Air Force Base, and you can sort of use your imagination. Castle Creek Air Force Base came around in World War II, I believe, around the time of Pearl Harbor. So these are sort of interesting background pieces that there is no specifics to. But you got to do the math here, because there's billions of government dollars to execute a 5-year-old from a child rapist father with a psychotic family, using Adolf Hitler's next warfare tactics, to use psychological warfare tactics. All of my family have secondary psychology degrees. My mother is more of a therapist, art therapist, and I'm an artist, so that's a big no-no, because if I create art, any piece of art is the end-all be-all of crimes. I need to be hunted and killed for them. Doesn't really make too much sense, because everyone else is creating whatever art they want. They're going out watching whatever movies. They're doing whatever drugs. Not that I'm supporting drug use here. I'm just saying that when you go to college and all your friends are doing every chemical known to man, the government isn't trying to plant trash bags full of marijuana in their houses and shit like this, to say they're drug dealers. Not that I'm a drug addict or anything. Have smoked marijuana from time to time. It is now legal, which is good because now you understand the ramifications of, hey, someone had a beer in Prohibition and there's a worldwide campaign to kill him. Doesn't really make too much sense. Or someone jaywalked and there's a worldwide campaign to kill him. Doesn't make too much sense. Or when someone was 5 years old, he left a piece of litter on the ground or something and there's a worldwide campaign to kill him. Okay, so nothing really makes any sense other than government flag and kill operation saying we think this person, like Victoria, quote unquote, we think this person is the next Unabomber or something like that. Now, I have shown beyond any level of reasonable doubt, dealing with a planet of child rapist shit for 51 years, that they're not going to get what they want. They have not pushed me, even with 100,000 to 1 million attacks per day, the entire planet. There's rarely a human interaction that doesn't involve psychological provokings to death to try to execute me. If anyone were to be justified, it would be me. Yet they have not gotten the reaction they wanted, and they're even angrier now than they ever have been because they can't cover up their child rapist and murder activities. So my signage really upsets two groups. It upsets the probably more. It upsets the people that started it, obviously, and the corrupt police officers, San Diego PD working with Eric Christensen, that girl Kat and Jen and all that weird shit, Kelly Hatch frame jobs. I'm sure there were some police officers in Denver, Colorado trying to figure out how to stealthily set me up and frame me and execute me, especially with those people sent to all Jason's friends he introduced me to, Mike Wexler, Jason Baum, that homeless Grateful Dead guy they put in my house in 2020 Arapahoe, trying to rile me up and get me to go after him, with Jason Baum trying to fuel it, right, trying to manipulate me into situations. To cover up, what was Jason Baum trying to cover up by telling me I should scare him with a gun or whatever, is he was trying to cover up my father putting the bullet holes in his 300D Mercedes, making up the lies to the world that I tried to kill or scare him with LAPD. That would be LAPD. Yeah, LAPD. And then all the other 100 million related things, and Terrence Scroggins, and him linked to LAPD, and Mike Huntley introducing me to Rody Morales, my gym manager, and then him befriending me and taking me to strip clubs, saying I'm stalking and harassing strippers and all that weird shit that doesn't make any sense. From strip club to strip club, right? So everywhere you go, you might smile at a girl and you try to kill them. Okay, it doesn't make sense. Waitresses in Denver and Boulder, and hey, can I have an omelet? Thank you very much. He threatened my life, whatever, for saying thank you very much. Okay, whatever. And magically, the key here is that the information goes out worldwide. So worldwide propaganda, these creative writer, whether they're hiring creative writers to dramatize absolutely nothings, and then either way that information is being disseminated with billions of government dollars worldwide. So if you go to a restaurant and smile at a waitress, you tried to kill her and it's a death stare. That's quote unquote from Anita Perlman, a death stare by smiling and looking at a girl. But how do you look at a girl? How do you ask a girl on a date if you're not allowed to make eye contact? How do you ask a girl on a date if you're not allowed to smile at her? Okay, so if you smile at a girl, it's either a death stare or an evil smile, so you need to be hunted and killed by a planet of people with unheard of psychological warfare methods that just supposedly aren't going on. By the way, you can download now, I don't know what we're up to, 60 or 70 terabytes of daily, or everything from daily to court transcripts to but 60 to 70 terabytes in the last 6 or 7 years, daily narrated video just like this, but on the front camera here on the A7S, or going into public places and being harassed verbally by each and every public place. So whether it's the visual cues, the strangers walking by and whistling, the visual clothing tactics, the verbal, like if 15 people this week say how you doing in a row in sequence, okay, that was probably about 5 today. And then he's imagining it, he's too sensitive, Your kind is not allowed at any place in the world for no reason at all, which doesn't make any sense. And because you have something to say about their worldwide murder operations, you're a horrible bad guy for having the First Amendment freedom of speech to speak out against worldwide murder operations to kill a 5-year-old Jew from a child rapist, father, or family, or whatever. Okay, so do people need to start coming forward? Yeah. I mean, what kind of person wouldn't? A child rapist murderer. Okay, or someone so enamored in guilt that they're like one of those Nazis that is still living and breathing, and he lives here in the U.S. and he doesn't want his past coming to light, how he was put bullet holes in Jews' heads for reading. Either way, it really is something on that level with most of the people involved here, because they know someone who knows someone, or they don't want their grandkids to know that they're child raping murderers. So yeah, so I'm here in Hollywood. People can see the signs, they can go to the website, they can download the 70 gigabytes of supporting data, they can download the transcripts with Terrence Scroggins and Dincy in their Jew kill operations or cover-ups, or however you want to word it, how Dincy is linked to prostitute Victoria Walker, sent in my life with defense attorney Michael Bialis, linking to Brian Longbotham, clearly a link to Mike Huntley, paying off these strippers like Melody the stripper at 16, trying to set me up, frame me, manipulate me into situations, or weasel me into situations where each person makes up cry wolf, oh poor me, victim lies, and then those lies, each and every one, goes out worldwide. And the key here on these secret propaganda systems, the internet-based ones starting in 1994 when my brother wanted me to see the internet so bad, well, on the fence, like I'm your brother and I love you, but you need to die, just like the rest of my family. The key here is why, if I walk into a coffee shop and I'm nice as can be, and the girl says he harassed me, and boom, it goes worldwide, instantly within minutes, why were these systems built around me in secret to have me killed? Okay, they are kill systems built by the government. It doesn't make any sense. The Mike Huntley argument, you had better live a careful life because I've given you enough rope to hang yourself with, and you're the bad seed, and singing World of Paranoia and dropping papers on my desk, how to make people mentally ill, is just a extension that Mike Huntley was paid off to have me killed with Paul Humphrey when he was sent into my life at 14, and Brian Weaver in 8th grade, and my father enraged that I kissed a black girl when I was 8 years old. And let's be realistic, nobody gives a shit that I kissed a black girl at 8 years old. While the black community is babbling like, why do you like black people so much? Okay, they'll say anything. All these people will just say anything to kill the 5-year-old Jew, which makes them child rapists, Jew-killing murderers. Okay? Now, a real man, or a real person, or a real woman, or a real anything would say, this is fucking wrong. It's disgusting. It's unacceptable. What kind of sick piece of shit would do it? What kind of sick piece of shit would take part in it? What kind of sick piece of shit would accept it? What kind of sick piece of shit, after 51 years, would sit there and say, Kevin, we've been told 100,000 lies about you, but I don't know you. I'm going to follow you around trying to mentally bludgeon your skull in with rocks or lead pipes with every person on the planet. But, you know, you're destroying my life because you have something to say that we've been lied to. Okay, now if that isn't the sickest of sickest pieces of shit that don't belong on the planet Earth or anywhere else, I don't know what is, okay? Do you really want something like that as your friend, as your father, as your anything? Of course not. Okay. But if the target's name is, and the victim's name is Kevin Perlman, then it's okay, right? The equation changes. Well, we want you to have a normal life. That's why we have a worldwide campaign to hunt you and kill you based on psychological warfare tactics because you're wired wrong or whatever some moronic idiots trying to blast out. Once again, propaganda systems. Any of these 100,000 lies about me, is it coming from me? Or is it coming from a third party? Also known as hearsay. So example, if Dincy's blasting out lies worldwide with Officer Jensen and Detective Angela Stewart, Detective Shapiro, and the San Diego Police Department, ones that were trying to set me up and frame me in 1991 in San Diego when I went to Southern Oregon State College and Kelly Hatch was told to follow me up to Southern Oregon State College to figure out how to rid me of the world with her bullshit about how I'm supposedly breaking in her room after she tells me I can borrow the X-Acto knife to work on my car stereo, which I'm working in the dorm parking lot on. It's blatantly obvious I'm installing a car fucking stereo, and I have to cut the plastic off the plexiglass tabs to get the stereo in. And because I'm friends with Kelly Hatch and been in her room with her a million times, she says, you know where it is, go get it, okay? So that's also the crime of all crimes, according to the psychology community, and I'm supposedly threatening her life by asking her to borrow an X-Acto knife to install a car stereo. And also, I'm supposedly breaking and entering in a dorm room, which once again, you're going to say, even if that theoretically happened, why would it go out world fucking wide? Okay? I mean, why not just call the cops? Hey, this guy broke in my room. I think this guy broke in my room. I want to call the cops. Well, you know, I mean, we don't really have proof of that. Can people lie? Are people capable of lying? Are women capable of lying? Because you know what? I've never met one woman who wasn't capable. Actually, let me rephrase that. I've never met one woman that was capable of telling the fucking truth. Okay? Actually, technically, I've never met one person that was capable of telling the truth. But, most women that come into my life want me dead and gone before I ever talk to them. And you have to question the motive. Okay? By the way, on the 100,000 videos I have of me going to public places, you will see that there's not one single time, especially all across the United States, after buying the Corvette they're so mad about, don't want me traveling the world, hired City Guard and other security companies to threaten my life, you're not allowed to leave your house, on a more aggressive level, because they didn't want people seeing the signage all across the U.S. What reason, I totally lost my train of thought here. Oh, I just did that. So now some random person is going to whistle and then provoke me. So on video, out of 15 years of video, let me rephrase it this way. 15 years of downloadable video, attacked at every place and almost every human interaction worldwide. And this has been exponentially growing since 5 years old. You will see on video, and you're welcome to watch every minute of video. However, you will probably not leave your house for 20 years. Think about that. What I have to deal with because someone wants me dead at 5 years old, and the government or no one else worldwide is willing to come forward and say that's wrong. And I'm told I'm not allowed to have a voice, First Amendment freedom of speech voice that says you've been lied to. Okay, what if it was you? What if you're minding your own business and all of a sudden a police officer says, you know what you did, and I have a worldwide campaign to kill you. And you're like, I don't understand. Was it, I didn't get all A's in college? Is that what it is? Okay, well, we're not going to tell you. We're just going to kill you. Okay. Oh, and Officer Toro, I'm going to exercise the law in my own way because he doesn't want all his Ron Perlman daddy little hookers known, who were paid off to have me killed and all that weird shit. And what if it was you? Then it wouldn't be okay, correct? But it's not you. So you have your sort of spoiled brat world, and you have no concept of reality, refusing to even read history books and understand what still goes on today in third world countries. And I totally, once again, oh, okay, so downloadable on 15 years of video, probably 70 terabytes of video off Kevin Perlman, Target.com. You will see on almost every human interaction is me being provoked by these passive-aggressive, idea of reference, mimic, terror tactics that have been exponentially growing since 5 years old, and you will see that there's not one single time I provoked anyone. Not once. Ever. And the news is so tight here, Mike Huntley's giving me enough rope to hang myself with. I don't know exactly what that means, other than he's been following me around since 5 years old, trying to put a noose on me and kill me with my father. Clearly paid off. Took money to befriend me. Well, you had a sarcastic statement, so we have to hunt you and kill you. People don't say those types of things. We have to hunt you and kill you. People don't watch horror movies. We have to hunt you and kill you. People don't date more than one girl in 10 years. The twos thing they do. We have to hunt you and kill you. Okay, well, I'm confused here because nobody fucking cares about any of these things. Okay? So what's it really about? I don't know, but I can tell you that my father decided to have me killed with the government when I was 5 years old. And I could talk about my childhood, but it's not going to give you any data there that's going to support a father killing a 5-year-old. I can't imagine what he's saying to the world. I do know that our dog Oppo, when I was probably around 5 or 4, bit my brother in the face, and he definitely wanted to keep the dog alive, but he started hunting me to kill me. That's pretty fucking weird. Okay, and then he obviously tells Jason, you need to help me, okay, and my mother. Okay, so yeah, so here I am, people in Hollywood. It doesn't matter if I'm Hollywood or anywhere else. It's irrelevant. Need to see the signs, need to go to the website, need to see the proof, because they're not given proof. They're trying to punch me in the back of the head 100,000 times a day to try to get reactions and say, look what he did now. Okay, well, the bottom line here is there is no provoking someone to death and saying, look what he did. There's the situation as a whole, as a entirety. And the situation is as the entirety is, minute by minute for 51 years or 46 years or whatever, is how do we make this person look like a violent paranoid kid? So my father showing me movies, telling Jason to show me movies, trying to make it look like I conform to media, you name it, the whole ball of wax, using a psychology degree, and then realizing that he just wasn't accomplishing his extermination agenda as things escalate and get worse and worse worldwide to kill me, working with the psychology community with their packaged bullshit labels, trying to get me in the doors of a shrink so they can throw labels on me the very first second of the very first visit of walking in the room, which, by the way, there's probably over 20 audio recorded therapists that you can listen to the therapy sessions of their complete utter bullshit and looking the other way at each and every scenario. Even if it was people physically attacking me, they would not admit these things were happening. Okay, showing that they're nothing but child murdering, child rapists, two-faced pieces of shit, not here for any other reason, like most common criminals, to steal people's money and kill what's in their path and steal their house and cars or whatever. Either way, they're hypocrites with no morals or integrity, and that is not someone, when my mother's babbling, I just want you to have a normal life. Every single one of her and everyone else, and my father and brother and everyone else's actions and behaviors, I don't care what they say, are the complete opposite of a normal life or a healthy life or even breathing. Okay? And so while my mother's babbling weird shit that I'm wired differently and I'm backwards, okay, once again on those vague labels and vague terms, what specifically does that mean? When I'm getting death threats, no relaxing for you, nigger, and you better accept what's going on or it'll get a lot worse from you, while they're trying to mentally bludgeon my skull in, and random girls are sent after me named Skylar saying she likes to skull fuck people to death and all sort of weird shit like this. Okay, linking to my brother in Florida, working with him. Okay, we have so many people linked to my brother, right? Okay, now the other thing I want to state is the weird events childhood events, like my father taking me on Caribbean cruises, my brother working with Darren Moselle to buy me Kershaw pocket knives, saying, here, have a pocket knife, and then I'm 14 years old, hinting about the name Pearlman as if Pearlman is Pearl Harbor, and giving me, like, every night shitloads of B-52 and kamikaze shots to drink with the idea of reference messages with Darren Moselle, trying to flip me out and get me to go after him. The same thing over and over, trying to get me to chase people, trying to get me to go after him. What's it about? Well, Jason and friends are moving onto Chase Street and popping water beds and destroying houses and calling me on the phone saying, Kevin, how long does it take to fill a waterbed, and then you know he's running around saying that I lied to him or something like that, trying to get him to pop waterbeds and destroy houses, okay? And the idea of reference over and over about chase or be chased, having Chasey Lane, porn star Chasey Lane, follow me and sit in first class on an airplane, trying to figure out Crying Wolf, trying to make it look like I'm going after her because I had a pool cue, hinting that the pool cue is a gun, and things like this that don't make any sense, okay? And then so many porn stars taking part because they all want me to have normal lives, right? Yeah, that's it. The porn stars want me to get help and have a normal life, so they're stalking me, saying I'm stalking them. That's gonna give me a normal life. Destroy my name worldwide and have me killed. That's gonna give me a normal life. That makes sense. I mean, let's be realistic here. I want you to have a normal life, or I want your fucking house and cars because you just disappeared and I know someone from Brazers that lives next door to you, right? Okay, let's be realistic on that fucking one. Okay, so, now was that Brazers guy that lived next door, was he really Brazers, or was that some kind of setup attempt to try to get me to break in to someone's house by provoking me to death and trying to get me to lose control? I can't tell you because I've seen about 500, actually technically I've seen about 100 million, but the more direct ones, let's say I've seen that about 10 times in my life, but never ending. Does that make sense? Like the people at the Warner Center Met trying to provoke me to death for 28 years or something, trying to get me to break into their place, and so the security guards run out yelling at me while I'm taking walks on public streets saying you can't be here or you can't be in here. What do you mean in here? It's a fucking public street, dude. Right? Then they try to mace me for taking walks. Okay, now what are they trying to do? They're trying to piss me off to the point where they get me to break in, even to the point where I have one of those Warner Center Met people coming out and talking to me while I take walks and telling me that he wants to test his alarm system, so he wants me to break into his house or go into his house.